Thursday, February 17, 2022. We are seeing serious trouble begin to unwind in these markets. The economy continues to unravel. I don't even know where to begin today, ladies and gentlemen. I think I'll just begin with these markets. Dow Jones just closed a little while ago, down 622 points, down 5 out of the last 6 days. NASDAQ down 422 points. Gold up $30 today, silver up 23 cents. Bitcoin, as I make this video, down $4,000. That's 9%. Ethereum down 8.9%. XRP down 9.35%. Litecoin down over 10%. We keep hearing about, are these safe haven assets? I truly believe they are not. And this is not a hit on cryptocurrencies, but they are not safe haven assets. Now, as long as the Fed keeps printing money and injecting all this QE into the markets, as long as there's no wars, as long as there's no trouble, these cryptos seem to be just fine. Then it's pure speculation, pure gambling. But the minute that we see risk in the world, risk in these markets, these things begin to collapse. They fall apart like a wet paper bag. Again, gold up $30 today. This is a safe haven asset, not gambling, not speculation. I'm sorry, but the cryptos, every time we see trouble in the markets, they absolutely fall apart. And now with the talk of war and the talk of interest rate hikes and the talk now that the Fed is going to pull the punch bowl away from these markets, we're seeing what a safe haven asset looks like and what doesn't look like a safe haven asset. So let me know, comment down below. I know this is going to trigger some people. It may offend some people, but it's reality, ladies and gentlemen. They literally got destroyed again today. And as we head into this depression, as we head into this economic collapse, as we head into more risk, more uncertainty, do you want to be gambling or do you want to be holding something real? Now, I want to talk about this article, and actually it's been all over the news, what's happening with the banking system up in Canada. Did we see a bank run take place yesterday in Canada? Now, let me go over this with you. Royal Bank of Canada, Bank of Montreal, TD Bank of Canada, Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, all hit with unexplained outages yesterday. Banking customers unable to access their funds, money transfers rejected. Was a bank run taking place yesterday and they just shut the system down? Or is this a cyber attack that shut the system down? Think about it. You cannot go to your bank and get money out of it. You couldn't do transactions. You couldn't do a wire transfer. Everything just shut down. I don't know what the situation looks like today, if it's back up and running or partially, but this was freaking people out. So were people going and pulling massive amounts of money out of the banks yesterday because of the situation that's taking place up there? I'm not going to get political, but is that a possibility? And the banks just said, hey, we got to shut it down and we'll blame it on a glitch. We'll blame it on a cyber attack. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Or was this a cyber attack and it shut the system down? So now will we see a bank run because of what happened yesterday? Because if I'm a bank customer and I can't do business, I can't access my money, I can't withdraw, I can't do a wire transfer, I can't even go to the grocery store and buy groceries with my plastic debit card, I don't feel too good about that. So what I would do today is I would go to my bank and I would pull out as much cash as I could. And this takes me right back to what we've been talking about for over a year. Is your money safe in a bank? Are your assets safe sitting in a safe deposit box in a bank? Absolutely not. And this is another crucial reminder of why you and I should not have a majority of our cash or assets in a bank. You should have no assets in a bank, period. And you should have the minimal amount of cash in a bank. This is another reminder, ladies and gentlemen. Look, bank runs, cyber attacks, glitches, no access to your money. This should alarm everybody watching this video, because if it can happen there in Canada, it can happen here. Again, not going to get political. I don't know what happened, if it was done purposely or if it was a cyber attack, but at the end of the day, who cares? It's telling you and I that our money is not safe in the system, and it's a reminder of why we need to get out of the system and disconnect from the system the most that we can. CNBC today, Fed's Bullard says inflation could get out of control, so action is needed now. This is the St. Louis Federal Reserve president. He's been very, very vocal, very adamant that rates need to go up now. He's calling for a full 1% rate hike by July. And if it was up to him, I think he would raise rates 1% today. He said that we are now at more risk than we have been in a generation, and this could get out of control. So again, watching what is happening throughout the world, what's happening to your economy, you need to be protecting yourself. And I think that having some gold, having some silver, and this is by no way financial advice, but it's what I'm doing, a lot of my friends are doing, a lot of wealthy people are doing this, and most of all, central banks are doing this. They are stockpiling gold. They've been stockpiling gold for years. China has been stockpiling gold. Russia stockpiling gold. India, the Central Bank of Poland, all the big central banks have been stockpiling gold over the years. So getting back to this article, why have they not raised interest rates? Why not come out today and do it? Why not have come out yesterday and do it? Every day that goes by is creating more problems, more uncertainty, and more damage to the average American. They keep telling us, and today I'm watching these business channels and people repeating the same thing. This is a strong economy. We have strong consumers. It's never been stronger. Well, if that's the case, why are they so reluctant to raise interest rates? They're going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. There's no doubt about it. But why have they waited so long? We are about 8 or 9 years too late raising rates. And, you know, we talk about the only way that they can really get ahead of this and stop this inflation at this point is raise rates above the rate of inflation. But here's the big problem with that is you and I both know that 7.5% inflation is false. We know that the real rate of inflation now is probably 17, 18, going on 20%. There's no way they could raise rates above 20%. So I don't know how this is all going to play out, how bad it's going to get. I think that the Fed has lost control. And that means we are on our own. You're on your own. I'm on my own. Don't look for anybody to save you. There's nobody in the system or these institutions that is going to save you. Remember, these banks, this Fed has created this mess. And if you think that they're going to save you, you're absolutely mistaken. The Hedge today, 5 new numbers that prove that America's horrifying inflation crisis is getting worse. I'll go through it real quick. Producer Price Index, which measures goods and services, rose 9.7% over the previous 12 months. Truck trailer prices up 29.6% from January 2021. Used vehicle prices, we all know this, 40.5% increase since January of 2021 to January 2022. Gasoline up 40.8% from last January. Lumber prices soaring. The average new build of a home is up $19,000 for a newly built home. That's how much more the lumber cost is to build that home. So I don't know about you. This is going to come to a head. These bubbles are going to burst. And watching this massive market volatility that I watched earlier today, there's so much happening globally, socially, financially. You need to be preparing. Fed-driven housing mania sends average home buyer loan size to record high. This also on the Hedge today. I don't know who can buy a house today. I don't know who would even want to buy a house today. I think this would be the worst possible time to buy a home. And I think people who have recently bought a home are going to really regret what they did. Record loan size. The average loan now is $453,000. Think about that number. Household debt now is at what? $15.8 trillion. We're going to be at $16 trillion in household debt here very, very shortly. But just think about the amount of debt people are acquiring with health insurance, auto insurance, home prices, rent. It's astronomical. The price to feed a family, put gas in the car. I don't know how much longer people are going to be able to do this. And the only reason that a lot of them are able to do it right now is because they have multiple credit cards and they're acquiring even more debt with high interest payments. Housing starts tumble in January, building permits hit 16-year highs. So housing starts down 4.1% month over month. They did a survey and 75% of people in the survey said this is not a good time to buy a home. 25% said it was a good time to buy a home. But I think that we are going to see a massive slowdown in housing starts, home sales. Right now, permits at an all-time high, but this is all going to change as interest rates rise, mortgage rates rise, inflation rises, and people have now figured out that, now that they're making a little bit more money, that 3, 4, 5% doesn't mean anything. It's getting eaten up with the high cost of living. And people making $15 an hour, they're never going to be able to buy a house. They're going to be debt slaves. They're going to continue to live paycheck to paycheck. People have so much debt, and so many people now, they bought cars, they bought houses, they bought jewelry, they bought electronics, and they financed all of it. And they look at the monthly payment, and they are so stretched now. And they are one event, one little accident, one little speed bump away from the whole house of cards coming tumbling down. And people have really, really stretched themselves. And this is really going to be disastrous, folks. Air travel faces long haul flight to recovery. And this is just another reflection of the economy. I watch these shows, and they're telling us the economy's strong. Some people saying the economy's never looked better. The economy's booming. Passenger travel remained 58.4% below the pre-crisis. 2022, global passenger demand to reach 61% of pre-crisis levels. This forecast was made by the International Air Transport Association in October. So this could even be worse because this was made back in October. Things have gotten much worse since then. So they now believe that they won't even reach 61% of the pre-crisis levels. Restaurateur says he spends around $750,000 a year on security to deal with unruly diners. Restaurants being absolutely crippled. That is one business that I'm glad I am certainly not in. What a very, very rough business right now to be in. But this gentleman operates 40 restaurants nationwide. Said he never spent a dime on security. Now he's spending $750,000 a year on security because of unruly diners. Where am I living, ladies and gentlemen? When did we all of a sudden become a third world country where you've got to have security guards in a restaurant because of unruly diners? But we also saw what happened with Golden Corral, people fighting over steak and starting fist fights. And it's just absolutely incredible. And now people are going in, ordering, you know, $100 a dinner and then walking right out. I mean, this is where we're at, ladies and gentlemen, and it hasn't even gotten bad yet. Think about what all this is going to look like. If he thinks $750,000 is a lot for security right now, wait till we get further into the year. He'll be breaking $1 million because it's going to get a lot crazier. CNBC, with limited inventory due to a computer chip shortage, 82% of consumers are paying above sticker price for a new car. Again, how long does this go on? How long can it go on before people are just tapped out, broke, and they just quit? They're just not going to get a new car. They're just not going to go to work. They're just literally going to just tap out of life because there's just no way of winning here. Everything is getting so expensive. Wages are not keeping up with the inflation. And the sad thing is nothing is being done to fight inflation. Yeah, we're going to get a rate increase by March, maybe sooner. They need to do it. They really need to come out and do it, and they need to get super, super aggressive. People are really, really suffering. A year ago, only 2.8% paid above sticker. Now, 82% are paying above sticker. Think about that. Consumers are paying, on average, $728 above MSRP on the average new car, which is now almost $46,000. A year ago, the average amount was $2,152 below MSRP. 2 years ago, that discount was $2,648 below MSRP. So now it's $728 on average above MSRP. So think about that. You're making less money. Everything costs more. The gas to put in that car is up 40, 50%, and you got to pay nearly $1,000 above asking. But I've seen videos where Mercedes dealers are charging up over $5,000 for a Mercedes. Out in LA, I was watching a video from a gentleman. He was at a Toyota dealership in a 4Runner. They were asking $10,000 above the sticker for this 4Runner for Toyota. Absolutely ludicrous. Coffee prices may soar out of control as stockpiles plunge. Drought and frost, now another problem on top of all this inflation, creating even more inflation. This will affect 150 million coffee drinkers right here in America. So I don't know what a Starbucks latte is now. Is it $9? Will it be $10? Will it be $12? I don't know, but it's going to be very hard to do, as people are going to be paying $5, $6, $7, maybe at some point $10 for a gasoline, and they'll be paying $9, $10, $12 for a latte. How does this end, ladies and gentlemen? Comment down below. This is going to be apocalyptic, no doubt about it. This has got to come to an end. This is getting so far out of control. And we haven't really seen the fallout yet, but we're going to. But we're seeing signs of it every day with the crime, with the massive prices, the shortages, the volatility in these markets, and of course all the lying where people just tell you everything's going to be okay, don't worry. Somebody wrote me last night in the comments and said the economy's doing just fine. In fact, the economy's doing great. $30+ trillion of debt. 170, 180 trillion of unfunded liabilities. We have a pension crisis, massively unfunded pensions here. We have gas prices 50% up, food prices, food shortages, a supply disruption. We have cities like Chicago, many municipalities absolutely broke. We have a trade deficit over $1 trillion. Trade deficit in December was over $100 billion just in December. We're not making anything here. We're not manufacturing anything here. Household debt at an all-time high. Student loan debt, all-time high. This has absolutely gotten so out of control. Yet there are people, and look, I'm not criticizing this gentleman. I'm not judging you. But you literally have to be a mental zombie to believe that this economy is good. To even say it was fair and doing okay, you've lost it. You're out of your mind. This economy is plunging. You are witnessing the collapse of an economy. This country is officially in a depression, ladies and gentlemen. And if you don't see it, and if you don't believe it, you're going to be in big trouble, because that means you're not prepared. And you better get very, very concerned right now. You better get very worried right now, and you better start taking action, especially if you have kids. America's largest landlord just got even bigger. Blackstone buys 12,000 Sunbelt apartments for $5.8 billion. It's a big problem, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we have companies like this that borrow money for next to nothing, while you pay 25% on your credit card. Okay, while you're going to pay 4, 5, 6, 7% for a mortgage, they're getting all the breaks. And it's so sad to watch this criminality, to see that financial institutions can come in and compete with a new first-time home buyer, to compete on the retail market here, when they have billions upon billions of dollars. And they are the ones that are very responsible for helping cause this massive housing bubble. And people are going to lose their homes. How many people have borrowed money out of their homes that they purchased in the last couple years because this bubble's inflated? They're not going to be able to get out. Everybody thinks they'll just be able to sell when they need to sell. So many people borrowed money out of their homes already, use them as ATMs. They're going to be so upside down when this happens. You can thank companies like Blackstone, you can thank the Fed for creating these massive bubbles and giving you the illusion that your $200,000 house is worth $1 million, because in all reality, it is not. And we are going to see the biggest housing collapse in world history take place. I firmly believe that. I'm going to wrap it up right here, but I just want to respond to a comment that somebody left last night. Somebody wrote, if I buy $100,000 in gold, what do I do if things get bad? Well, probably thank God that you have $100,000 in gold, because it's probably going to go up. But don't buy gold to think that, you know, once things crash, that it's gonna go up 10 times, or that it's gonna be the end all be all, or the be all end all, whatever. I buy gold personally because I believe that after things do collapse, things will settle down. We will get back to some sort of monetary system. The dust will settle, and people are going to want real money, real assets. It would just be like saying, well, hey, I have a $100,000 Rolex. What do I do with it? Well, you're going to be able to trade it for some fiat currency, probably any fiat currency around the world. You'll be able to trade it for another asset. You'll be able to trade it for food. You'll be able to trade it, again, for a currency, for another asset. Gold could come down through this collapse. But as we saw what happened a couple years after the housing crash, gold hit all-time highs. So I think it's important to have, not just for the collapse, it will always have value. During the worst of the collapse, it will always have purchasing power. It will always be worth something. But I think it becomes very, very valuable after the collapse. And I don't know if that's going to be 6 months after, 6 days, 6 years. Nobody knows. But typically, it's once things settle down, gold really goes up, because people are looking for something real. And the weaker this dollar gets, and the more uncertainty in the world, I think people are going to run to real things, whether that's collectible art, collectible cars, gold, silver. People, I don't think, are going to get comfort in pieces of paper and promises. I think they're going to get comfort with the security of holding something, owning something physical. And so there's no guarantees, ladies and gentlemen, but one thing that I can guarantee is gold will never be worth zero. It will go up, it will go down. It does have some volatility, but at the end of the day, you will never go to zero. And typically, once things settle down, gold has always done very, very well. And even in the worst of times, it could do very, very well. We are in uncharted water. So nobody really knows how anything is really going to behave in this environment. But what we are seeing right now is, as there is uncertainty, as there is fear, as there is risk, gold is doing incredibly well. My main asset would be security. It would be food and water, barterable type items, having extra vitamins, pharmaceuticals, a tourniquet, things like that. And ways of keeping yourself warm, ways of keeping yourself cool, extra clothes, things like that. But I think when we come out of this whole thing, some may say it's a reset, call it whatever you want to call it. I think when we come out of it, gold will be king, gold will be the winner. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts, comment down below. What we do know is we are entering a very, very scary time, and 2022 has not disappointed. What we're seeing right now, and we're only in the month of February, imagine what things are going to look like by this summer, by this fall. Take the time that you have right now, do everything you can to put the odds in your favor spiritually, financially, and physically. You need to be preparing. If you haven't already been preparing, you are so far behind. It's already so late for so many people because they're broke. They have no money. They have no jobs. They've already racked up so much credit card debt. They have no chance. If you're working, if you have some money, you better get in a mindset right now that things are going to get much worse. Ask yourself, can you survive if the power goes out, if there's a cyber attack, if the financial system goes down? Do you have silver to barter with? Do you have barterable items? Do you have cash put away? Can you keep yourself warm? Can you keep yourself cool? Can you eat? Do you have water? Can you feed your kids? How about your dog? Make sure you take care of your animals. You have dog food and cat food put away for your animals too. So much going on. Anything is possible, ladies and gentlemen. You just watched a major country's banking system get shut down. Are you prepared to deal with that?